and that's why my heart breaks, because we just can't find the play to get them the victory that, in my mind, they deserve. The pride I feel of being a part of this with these guys, the way they fight. I know the reward is coming. It is. It's just the way that it works. It's a play, and as coaches, we got to do it better. We got to find that play, because in 2 weeks it's been about the same story. We certainly there are mistakes that we have to fix. There's mistakes as coaches that we're accountable to make sure that are fixed. But Tyler Van Dyke, what a performance! Unbelievable. First road start for a young guy like that. Everything they were throwing at him, so courageous. I mean, and I could go on and on of just guys just so impressed with. There's a good team in that locker room. There's a really good team in that locker room. We don't have a good record, and we are what our record says we are. I understand that, but there's a good team in there, and we stay the course. It's going to show. Questions?
Thank you, Coach. We'll start with Gary Furman from Kane Sport. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, Manny. Can you talk just about what happened at halftime? I mean, obviously everything was different in the second half. You clearly made adjustments. Somehow got the kids to come out and play like every play was the last of their life, and everything. The effort was obviously noticeable. Can you just, expound a little bit on what went on at halftime?
I think we're just playing better. I mean, there may have been a thing or two we did differently, but we just felt some of the mistakes, I know defensively, that we were making in the first half. We were just, obviously the quarterback is special, and what he's doing with his legs was, certainly the difference for them. But we had to just stop helping him, and we made some personnel changes, I think, that maybe helped us in the back end, and some younger guys in there playing more snaps, which seemed to make a difference. But yeah, but unfortunately, again, the mistakes we made in the first half gave us very little margin for error defensively.
Coach, we've got Kobe Price from the Sun Sentinel. Kobe, go ahead.
Man, you mentioned the mistakes that were made in the first half. I guess how do you explain why those mistakes were happening? I guess what mistakes in your eyes were the most costly?
Well, like the first touchdown run, they run power in the boundary. We're too wide on our fit. They got an RPO slant behind them. We have two defensive backs that, one's rolling down to be the unblocked player, make the tackle. It was basically fit up the way that you'd fit it up all week, and we don't fit up the right way, and the ball runs past, your support. I mean, that's not a hard down football, and that we're responsible as coaches to make sure that plays like that. I mean, just they can't go for touchdown. Same thing on the third down. They throw the ball to number 11, which is what they're going to do. It can be a first down. It can't be a touchdown. Part of that is just angles, understanding, and that's why sometimes, again, just making the adjustments of getting some different guys in there seem to pay dividends for us.
Coach, we've got Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Manny. Obviously, you guys have worked a lot on tackling, but today there were several instances where guys were leading with the shoulder and not wrapping, and it really cost you, obviously.
Two high-profile ones on the quarterback, on Hal's a big, strong runner. Both ended up being touchdowns. I mean, those are just gross errors. I mean, we mentioned in halftime, you've got to wrap his legs. You hit him high. He's a difficult guy to bring down in space, even more so. So, again, very disappointing for those plays to just be such obvious errors. And something that again, if you look at the second half, crucial plays, critical errors in the second half on a third down in the red zone, and we can't get the quarterback on the ground when basically we're designed to spill the QB draw to a spy to get him on the ground, and to not have that happen is very disappointing.
And I guess if I could, as a quick follow, just the drive there at the end, you guys obviously get, within the 20-yard line. What was the play call? I know Tyler got picked, but what were you trying to do? What was he trying to do there?
He was throwing an RPO for a touchdown. Then he got tipped at the line of scrimmage. So obviously if if the ball got tackled in play, we'd had to run our Mayday field goal unit out there, but we were trying to win the game right there.
Coach, we've got David Wilson from the Miami Herald. David, go ahead.
Manny, just with Tyler, that we could see obviously upset at the end of that, understandably. Just how is he kind of reacting to that? Obviously, such a roller coaster game for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's like all of our guys. I mean, it's heartbreak. I mean, the way they invest and the way this team is. Look, this isn't. It's like college ball. We're an imperfect team. There's a lot of imperfect teams in college ball, but the one thing that this team has is it's got fight, and I think that sums up Tyler Van Dyke. I mean, that guy battles. Had to come back from throwing some interceptions. I mean, you're kind of, you're in a high profile spot. When you make a mistake, everybody kind of notices. And missing some throws, which is what's going to happen. And that guy, you don't blink. The way he fought back and led us at the end. And everybody, I feel like this has been 2 weeks in a row. Everybody on our sideline knew that we were going to win the football game on the last drive. And somehow it didn't come off.
And I also want to ask you about James Williams. Obviously, a good game for him for the most part, but a couple 15-yard penalties there. Seemed like he's obviously a young guy. Just what do you kind of say to him after that series? Where
You got to calm down. Because he's had a couple in the other games also. I mean, obviously you can see he can impact a game, but like a lot of guys, you try too hard, instead of just making the plays that are there. For a guy like James, the only way to get experience is by getting experience. When you play on the road in front of, a crowd like this and just the emotions of the game. And you got to learn how to manage it. You got to learn how to manage your emotions. And that's just something that all guys learn, in their college career. He's just getting a baptism by fire.
Coach, last question for you is from Chris Stock at InsideTheU. Chris, go ahead.
Well, there were a couple of differences. Number one, the difference was that the clock was running. So a field goal would have been a chaotic situation to get the field goal because obviously we were out of timeouts. And it was in essence, I mean, it was the play that you want everybody to come up and stop the run and you kind of just pop it over their head for an RPO. So I mean, Tyler just walked him down the field, and he just walked him down the field twice. So to me, I'm putting our confidence in Tyler Van Dyke at that time seemed like a fantastic idea. And it was just one of those unfortunate things where a guy just got a hand up and it's not just unfortunate he tipped it, then it turns into a match scramble for the ball that somehow, we could have just batted it down. We could have just knocked it down. I mean, that's just the margin we're at. The ball's just laying on the ground. We're still out there playing right now in overtime. And it's just, these are the breaks that are tough to stomach with a team that's battling like ours is. But if we keep that fight, the other stuff will come.